Chapter 1338. Kwamsuki did not give up, and continued to ask, "Then think about it now, what kind of man can meet your criteria for mate selection?" Xingshi thought about it, and then said, "First of all, he must be stronger than me." "Better than you? In what way? In career? In education? Or achievement?" Xingshi said very seriously, "It is the strength of martial arts. I don't want to find a man who can't beat me in the future." Kwamsuki coughed awkwardly, and thought to himself, "This Xingshi, she doesn't seem to be quiet, but I didn't expect to be so competitive in her bones. She likes martial arts and pursues martial arts. Why do you want to find a man who is stronger than herself when you fall in love? That is to say, a person who has no power to bind a chicken, doesn't it mean that he has already lost some opportunities when he comes up?" Thinking of this, Kwamsuki said hurriedly, "Miss Xingshi, is your condition a bit harsh? There are so many good men in the world, but they may not all practice martial arts, and many martial arts masters are very old. Just like your coach Mr. Yamamoto Kazuki, Miss Xingshi would not want to find such a boyfriend, right?" Xingshi shook her head and said, "Of course not. The strength is stronger than me. It is only the first requirement. I also have the second requirement. He must conform to my aesthetics and values. In addition, his age must not be over 3 years older than me, and he must be upright and kind." Kwamsuki asked again, "What about the assets? What are the requirements?" Xingshi said, "There are no requirements for assets." Kwamsuki felt a little depressed. "My biggest advantage is my assets. I am the chairman of a family business at a young age. This is rare in China. After all, the older generation of entrepreneurs who are normally as old as my father have not retired, and their children haven't even begun to inherit the family business." However, he did not expect that Xingshi would not care about the other party's assets at all. Could it be that even a pauper, as long as she meets other conditions, she is willing to follow? Depressed, Kwamsuki couldn't help saying, "Miss Xingshi, your father should have certain requirements for your future spouse selection. After all, you are the eldest lady of the family. At this point, you should also consider the opinion of chairman." Xingshi shook his head. "Everything else can be considered father's opinion, but I will not consider the matter of choosing a spouse. This is not only about a person's freedom, but also about the happiness of a person's life. Don't point fingers." Kwamsuki frowned involuntarily. It seems that this super-rich second-generation beauty and super-rich in front of her is very difficult to chew. Just when Kwamsuki didn't know how to cut in, how to pursue Xingshi, Alex had already galloped back and forth on the lake with Daisy. Daisy had enough fun, and the chef of the Lane family had prepared a sumptuous meal and banquet, so she drove the boat back to the dock. Later, she returned to the villa with Alex, and Mr. Lane warmly invited Alex to sit in the luxurious Japanese restaurant in her villa. When Mr. Lane arranged the seats, he specifically asked Daisy to sit next to Alex. At the same time, he opened a bottle of top-quality wine that had been kept for many years and handed it to Daisy. "Don't let Master Anderson's cup empty." Daisy took the wine bottle and said softly, "You know, Dad, don't worry." Mr. Lane smiled again and said, "By the way, Daisy, the first time Master Anderson comes back to our house for dinner, you should also accompany Master Anderson for a drink."